Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the final episode of the No Punches Pulled podcast for 2024. Myself, Jay's Fight Talk, and Liam Tully. Just for a little debrief of Usyk Fury 2. We obviously covered myself and Jay the main event yesterday, but a couple of talking points from the undercard to go into. And then we've got 11 or 12 categories for our awards show. Now, we want everyone to get involved in the comments as well as us three giving our opinions as well, as we'll try and give every category a winner without arguing with each other too much. That's the goal of tonight. But we'll try. We'll see how it goes first of all. So we'll do the awards bit towards the end, boys. I guess we'll just continue with the debrief of last Saturday night in Riyadh. Usyk Fury 2. Liam, I guess for yourself, me and Jay kind of had a little natter yesterday morning about the main event. The undercard, look, it was what it was. McGregor and McGregor. That fight was what it was. Boachuk beat a Brave-ish. The talking point really is Moses Atama and the Fisher-Allen fight, isn't it, really? They're the two real talking points on the undercard. So, I guess we could probably start there, and then we'll do a final say on Usyk Fury 2 before we go to the awards. So we'll go in chronological order. Then we'll talk about Dave Allen and Johnny Fisher. Quite interesting, actually, that his dad and Sam Jones, a lot of the Fisher camp have came out and said they think Dave Allen won the fight, which is quite noble of them, in fairness. I don't know if either of you watched the fight back since it happened, but have you any thoughts to weigh in on since we watched it?
It's worse now I've watched it back. The decision's worse now I've watched it back. I thought it were bad enough live. It's absolutely diabolical. Dave Allen wins that fight by 4 or 5 points, man. There's the knockdown. A couple of those rounds after round 5 without a knockdown could potentially have been 10-8. But I gave him 10-9s and a 10-8. I think from round 5 onwards, Dave Allen never lost a minute of that fight. He got caught with a couple that Johnny had swung, hit and hooked. But other than that, he old-manned him. He did exactly what we said. If Dave Allen turns up and Johnny Fisher's not as good as what they're saying he is, then that's what we're going to happen. And that's exactly what happened. Dave Allen didn't necessarily turn up. I just think Johnny Fisher's not that good. He's found his level. His level is British title-ish mix.
Yeah.
He's I'm not saying he won't improve. The kid's fairly young and inexperienced, but I've seen kids similar records with a lot less fanfare that would punch a hole in his head. I think without the punch, the concussive punch that they say he has, but he's knocked out Babbage and journeyman up to press. He couldn't get Dave Allen out of there, and I know Dave Allen's got a very good chin, but he's hittable. And eventually, what happens with Dave Allen is if you hit him enough, you either stop him or the ref will pull him out for damage. Johnny couldn't do that. He blew a gasket. He gave everything he had to try and get him out of there early, blew his load, and just clung on for 5 or 6 rounds. And as I say, scoring it again I feel more disgusted in the decision.
Nail on the head, mate. I watched it back, and my first thought when the fight ended was, me, that feels even worse second time. Without even hearing the scorecards again, that feels even worse. And I've got my scorecard up again. I gave Fisher the first 4 rounds, which I think is fair enough. He took those first 4 rounds. Then from round 5, round 5 onwards, all Dave Allen. So I had 96-93, and I had that on a watch back as well. So I didn't change.
It's an identical score to me.
Yeah. I don't think it was that hard to score.
Do you know what gave him an out? Is Dave Allen. It was tight. It was so humble and gracious in victory.
Yeah, he was gracious.
He should have kicked off a bit of a stink, but I think he's doing that to get the payday, the rematch.
His comments afterwards as well. He's like, I don't think he's been so nice to Fisher. He's like, I don't really think it's right. Like, I want the money and I want the rematch. Of course, I do for me, but I don't think it's right for him and his team to put him straight back in because
Dave's been in there with the best of them, and he knows the levels, be that sparring or in fight. Yeah. Dave Allen has mixed it with them all. Fury, Usyk, Joshua, Joyce, Dubois. Name them. Name a heavyweight in the top 20. Dave Allen has sparred them or fought them. Right?
Give Dave Allen another week.
Hope you well, mate.
Give Dave Allen another 10-week training camp with Jamie and Nigel again, and he comes out even better.
He stops him this time.
Yeah, he'll stop him.
Flicking through his Instagram today, he'd done a Q&A while he was on the plane home, and by his own admission, after round 5, he'd blown a gasket, and he was just trying to get to the final bell. He put everything into finishing Johnny in the 5th round. He said, look, we focused really hard on my technical sparring in this camp, and we sacrificed some of the cardio side of it. He said, give me another 10-week camp, and that cardio comes up with it. And then
I'll stop him, I think.
Yeah, I think penny for Johnny Fisher as well, boys. You know, he had a blood clot in his ear or something. I was reading this morning.
Yeah, he had it drained in the office.
Afterwards, and he's going.
Yeah, like fair play to him, man, because he was all over the place.
Paddy Power paid out.
They paid out. They did, yeah. Saw that.
William Hill didn't, because I didn't get paid out. But yeah, that just shows you. Look, if they go again, Dave Allen will stop him inside 5 or 6 rounds next time, I think.
Eddie's already said he's lining up for London April-May time as a main event. Copper box is where
sell out the copper box.
Sell out the copper box, and that's the test. You never know how it will work. By then, Fabio could have vacated the British title. If they moved Moses in a different direction, I'm sure Eddie can wangle it, maybe being an eliminator for the British at worst, maybe even for the vacant British belt. You just don't know how it's going to fall. Yeah. And look, Dave Allen got robbed on the scorecards. It was worse watching it back. But we did say, anyone can go back and watch our stuff last week, we all said, we don't quite know where Johnny Fisher's ceiling is. This is the livest dog he's been in there with. But equally, Dave Allen could come out like he did against Fraser Clark or David Price, and he's actually not going to give anything. He said in an interview after the fight, I have to wake up on the morning of the fight and feel in the mood to perform. Against Fraser Clark, I wasn't in the mood for that fight. Yeah, which isn't a good attitude to have. But if that's where he's at, he was in the mood Saturday night, you bet your bottom dollar will be up for a rematch. And we'll see how far Johnny Fisher can improve.
Dave Allen, let's be real, he's not a boxer. He's a guy that can box. That's all he's good at. He's good at not getting knocked out, and he's learned how to be offensive. He don't watch boxing. He's not interested in boxing. So motivating him is difficult in itself. Motivating himself inwardly is probably difficult. So I think we'll get probably the best Dave Allen we've ever seen if he rematches him, because he really wants that British title. He's always said he wants the British. And I think the way it is, the landscape, he could potentially get it. Unless he comes up against Moses, then I think the rest of them around British level, he's got a very good chat. David Adelaide and them, I think he beat David Adelaide.
Oh, he beat Adelaide. He would beat Adelaide. Look, he said already he wants nothing to do with Moses. He said again on his Instagram thing, he said, let Moses go in his direction. I don't want any part of that. Sparring, yes. Fight, I don't want to go near him. We know Eddie's got a soft spot for Dave as well, so he'll do what he can to try and make a rematch. And look, Johnny said himself, I'll give him a rematch. I need to, in his own words, I need to prove to myself that I can get past this hurdle. So let's see what it's about. It'll be interesting to see. Look, all the chat's there, and Eddie said it's one of his things on the cards for next year. But let's see if it materializes, because us British fight fans did get left a bit bare on these sort of level fights. Okay, haven't we this year?
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Let's see what happens with that one. It was a really good fight, and fair play to both of them. Moses, as we've just mentioned his name a few times, ran through Dempsey McKean in a round, boys. What a performance. The first one was grazer, wasn't it, on the top of the head? The second one was flush. Boom, Dempsey McKean's legs completely gone. Fair stoppage. I think his corner were on the verge of stopping it anyway before the ref did.
His corner was in the ring. You didn't need to finish that count. His corner was up.
Yeah, they knew. They knew. Not much to talk about from the fight apart from Moses landing 2 left hands. But what's the fascinating thing is where does he go next? Because like I said on Saturday night, he can't go back. You're at a level now. Like Dempsey McKean's not the best heavyweight in the world, but he's at a certain level where you can't even fight a similar opposition to Dempsey McKean now, because you're blowing him away in a round. You have to go and fight that next level of opposition now. And he's 19 years old. So like I was saying the other day, do they roll the dice? Do they gamble? Do they take one of the big guys? And because if he loses to, a fringe world level guy, should we say, then, the hype's gone, and they want to, be the youngest ever heavyweight champion, all this.
He's got till April to do that. He's got to April.
Put him in with Pulev to beat Tyson. Fight.
That's what I was going to
say.
Moses doesn't strike me as the type of guy like parade around as a WBA regular champion going on the beat Mike Tyson.
It gives him the recognition, a decent ranking, and then he's in the mix. That's his only shot. He's not going to get a shot before April at and technically he would have beat Tyson's record in a fashion.
Yeah.
That's his only chance. That is his only chance. The IBO, the WBO, the IBF, WBC, they're all tied up.
Yeah.
Those belts are all tied up. He ain't getting a shot, a proper
Who will ever
shot.
tell me then, potentially on this March Riyadh card that Bakoli and Ajabba's going to be on and a few other fights?
Yeah, I mean, potentially, if Frank is as hell-bent as has been suggested in the lead up to this fight on Moses getting a record, and that's the only fight they make. They pay Miller step-aside money, and they tell Miller he gets the first defense. I mean, it's a regular world title. It's a load of crap, but that's how you negate Miller being called as the mandatory. But if not, I mean, the drop down to British level would be seen for us as fans as too much of a step back. Do you go, I know he just lost his last fight, but someone like Jared Anderson, also young, also touted as the next big thing, do you possibly
I
think
that's a tricky fight for him. I said that yesterday.
Yeah. I don't think it makes any sense, if you know what I mean.
It doesn't. There's no world title on it.
Too much risk for reward. If Anderson turns up and doesn't get railroaded like he did with Bakole, Anderson's good enough to outbox him. His feet are quick enough to outbox Moses. And
I agree.
I don't want to see happen at this stage.
And he's had more time working with Sugar Hill Stewart now. He only had 7 weeks before the Bakole fight. That's what
I mean. So I just think there's too much of the unknown for that. I'd rather somebody else. You know, they're on about Torres. I saw that. You know, to unbeat.
Yeah, look, it's
Torres out of Torres and Anderson. Torres is the better option because Torres has shown that he's got vulnerabilities. If that makes sense.
Jalalov iron. Big up, Mr. Andy. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're well. Jalalov ironed out Torres, didn't he? In the Olympics, not this one in Tokyo. He flattened him in the final.
It is really it is really difficult though because you're in a position now with Moses where this year has probably gone far better than even Frank and George and the Queensbury team expected for it to go. If that makes sense,
off, man. We haven't got there yet.
Yeah, we're getting there, but we need
a mile better than they could have thought it could go. And now he's ended up in a position where Dempsey McKean's record was, padded, but he's got rid of him in just over 90 seconds. So now it's in a position where it's not like he's gone 10 rounds and you can say, okay, now we're going to drop back down to British level because he's got the experience against fringe world level. He's just blown away a final eliminator challenger inside in just over 90 seconds. So you have to keep going that way now. You can't go sideways. You can't go back down. And Pulev as a fight is a step down. However, in terms of what it does for his career, in terms of getting him a regular belt and a high ranking, it goes that way. I'd actually say Pulev he could take out quicker than he did Dempsey McKean on Saturday. That's the reality because of Pulev's age, because of how slow.
What about Hrgovic?
Yeah, do you know what? Hrgovic
was the man, wasn't he? Hrgovic was that man.
Hrgovic is an interesting one.
It was interesting to see what they do because, they can't keep going back down. They've now, because he's done it in a round, he's got to keep going up. So rankings over titles, get him into a position to be challenging for a vacant title once Usyk clears off.
Those belts are fragmenting in the next 12, 18 months, regardless of anything. So there's going to be world title shots all over the place at heavyweight. So, it's going to be very interesting. Right then, we'll quickly cover off. We've got a bit more of a crowd, so we'll get into the awards very shortly. But Usyk Fury 2, I know, Jay, we've had our I think we both watched it back and both had it 115, 113 Usyk, did we?
I've watched it 5 times now, and I've had 2 114, 114, and 3 115, 113 Usyk.
Yeah. How did you get it, Liam?
So I've watched it.
Big up, Jam. Hope you're well, my friend. Thanks for dropping by.
I've watched it about 4 times myself. I've done 116, 112, so the same as what I had on the night twice, and 115, 113 twice as well. So all in favour of Usyk, I should clarify. So don't get me wrong, it's a harder fight to score than the first fight was in May. You don't have that big round or that big moment in one guy's favour, but you can get fooled by the optics of what you're seeing in front of you. So Tyson Fury outthrows Usyk in 11 of the 12 rounds. He only outlands him in 1. Usyk's very good at catching on the gloves and the arms, isn't he? And making it look like he's taking shots when he's not, which is where the optics comes into it. But in reality, yes, he was throwing less, but he was more effective with his work, wasn't he? It was much more of a boxing match rather than a fight, if that makes sense. It was more technical. It was more tactical. But something no one's really spoken about at all across any media, Frank Warren definitely won't bring this up because he's too busy walking around with the lamented scorecards screaming robbery, is Tyson Fury came in at 20 stone and 1 pound. Okay, probably slightly less than that because he weighed in a biker jacket and stuff. But he didn't go all out to absolutely nail Usyk to the canvas in the first round.
I don't think he had the cardio to do that.
That's what I mean. So you've come in at that weight, and that's obviously been a tactic that you, Sugar Hill, Andy Lee have come up with. Then you come in and you decide that you're going to go to 12 rounds, but you don't actually have the gears after 6 or 7 to show another gear. He could sit quite comfortably in third gear, couldn't he, Fury? But Usyk could move around that and go into fourth.
He's got more gears to go through, Usyk. That's the thing. Jam had it the same as the judges, 8 rounds to 4 to Usyk. That's a great talking point. Mr. Randy will do that one. Most likely to get beat. So we'll name some fighters, Usyk of the likes.
The Fury tactics for me, mate, were just completely wrong in terms of you come in that heavy, the tactic should be to look to blow out your opponent. Okay, he may not have been able to do that with Usyk, but on watchback, you don't even see a 30-second period where he tries to stick it on him, if that makes sense, in the way where he looks to use his size, lean on him, and let his hands go. We never saw that. It's almost as if he thought he could outbox Usyk, but at 20 stone 1, he was never going to do it. And then to come out of the ring and on the way back be screaming, well, I'm never going to get a decision in these countries, X, Y, and Z. Well, you never tried to do anything other than get a decision. There was no moment in that fight where Tyson decided, now I'm going to look to put a hole in Usyk. Let's see if I can get him to the canvas, force the referee to stop it. He looked like he was happy to let it go to points. On the flip side with Usyk, he's done it again. He's given away over 4 stone in weight and made it look relatively comfortable at times for himself. It wasn't a comfortable fight, and he's admitted that himself, but he always looked like when he needed to get himself out of trouble, he'd be able to. And he's now come up to heavyweight, and he's done AJ twice. He's done Tyson Fury twice. He's done Derek Chisora. Dubois. Okay, he's a brick slayer. Including Tony Bellew, he's a brick slayer. But then Bradis, Gassiev, Huck, everyone that he's done down.
Plays everybody. He doesn't discriminate against nationality.
In 23 fights, what Usyk has done will go down in 20, 25 years' time in the annals of time, because he's only done it in 23 fights. We're not talking about he's on fight 47, 48 of his career like we were with the Klitschko brothers. He's done it in half that time. It's a phenomenal legacy, and whether he decides to give Dubois a rematch. I mean, we'll talk about Mr. ABC gate crashing an interview, which was cringeworthy to watch back, I'm sure, in a minute. Or he goes back down to cruiserweight to fight Opetaya. Your legacy is already defined. I wouldn't be against seeing him retire right off into the sunset. But if he does fight on, he's just going to carry on for me. Opetaya, he's got too much ring smarts for. Dubois, I mean, I saw a comment today saying Dubois could just be the young man that's catching him at the right time. Don't think so. Didn't happen in Poland last year.
Usyk is too good, man. He's not losing to any of them. I know Billy keeps saying Bacoli will beat him. Bacoli doesn't beat Usyk. Usyk beats every single.
I think out of them all, he's the only one that would get anywhere close for me because of his hand speed and his size. He knows how to maneuver himself, whereas Fury doesn't.
Fury's the one that had the best chance, isn't it? And we've seen that he has a chance, but he's not quite good enough to beat Usyk. That's what it is. There's loads of comments in here, guys, so I'm just going to run through a few. Hawkan scored it 7-5 to Usyk, same as myself. My friend here says Paul Dave Allen, absolutely, mate. Jam said Andy Cruz is one to look forward to. Yeah, that lightweight division is absolutely stacked. Alex Alberto G, best wishes from Florida, USA. Great boxing this year. Thank you very much for tuning in, my friend. Hope you're well.
Just going to nip and get another bottle of water.
You're okay, mate. Yeah, I've got a few comments to get through here. Dave Allen was robbed badly. Jam says he beat the brakes of the wrongful bull. Yeah, he absolutely did.
Yeah, he did, mate. That was a
bit of a stinker, wasn't it? My friend, this Cruz looks good, but great amateur doesn't mean a great pro. Yeah, that's a fair point as well, most definitely. You guys will laugh at me, but Deontay Wilder will return and Usyk will fight him one day. Look, I wouldn't rule it out, to be fair. I really wouldn't rule it out.
Mate, I wouldn't, especially with the Riyadh season money around. Whilst we're still talking about Usyk, mate, if he fights Dubois, beats Dubois, he's then a 2-time undisputed heavyweight champion. Like, just that optics for legacy as well. It's 2-time, he's just doing things that others can't do. Because he's fought against so many different styles now as well, hasn't he? And no style is able to get close to him. His closest fight, arguably, was Bradis, which was in the semi-finals of the Muhammad Ali trophy, wasn't it? And that,
oh, sorry.
Jay's back. Yeah, and that was his closest fight. That was
Sunbrock
back in
from Florida,
2016,
brother.
wasn't it? It's
Yeah.
been a long time. So he's just on another level, mate. And you've got to applaud the legacy to do what he's doing at the moment and, you know, be comfortable being away from home, being away from his family with what's going on in his country when he went and fought at the very beginning of that conflict when Russia first invaded. You've got to give him all the props in the world.
Do you know,
and he handles himself in such a way as well.
Do you know what it is for me with Usyk? I don't want him to have to hang around for another crop of heavyweights to find the one guy that can challenge him. He's beaten them all, right? There's the odd one, Bakole, etc., right? You weren't there when it was the time, right?
Yeah, they weren't in the position.
I don't want to see Father Time catch up and beat him because that's what will happen. He'll slow down. I said it the other night. I said, if he's on the slide, we'll find out tonight. He's not, but I know the scores were wider, but I thought that was a closer fight than the first one, which means, Tyson's closing the gap. If Tyson had done a couple of things different, you know, that fight could have gone the other way. Just a couple of things, like Liam said, step on that pressure a little bit more, use his weight a little bit more, try cut the corners. I know it's a lot easier for me to say that. Tyson's probably one of the most gifted heavyweights of a generation that isn't called Usyk. What I don't want to see is him hang around just because the fans want him to. He needs to look and think, you know, he said it the other day, he spent a long time away from his family. He's got young children. He's a he's got more money than he'll ever need, right? Just back out now. For me, I'd love nothing better than him to have a couple of weeks off and then come back like he's going to announce something and say, do you know what? Thank you. It's been emotional. I'm out of here. Adios. Belts get fragmented and it's time for the next gen. Yeah, he's done it all. There's no... What's he going to prove by beating the likes of Bakole or not? Dubois again. There's no to prove.
He doesn't add to his legacy. He only risks armchair fans saying, "Oh, he was never that good." When someone like Dubois or Bakole beats him, which isn't the
fact
case.
That he's beat Joshua and Fury twice last night, Saturday night. Paid to any of this, it were fluke. It were luck. Tyson look, he's beat him twice. I'd love to not love to see him retire because I'm a boxing fan, but I don't want to see age cat like it did with Lomachenko. Right? Apart from the Salida fight where he got old man through inexperience, eventually he got a bit too big in terms of going up too many weights, getting older. It didn't marry right, and he lost fights he wouldn't have lost 2 or 3 years before at a lower weight division. I don't want to see that happen. We'll get a young Moses Atoma, somebody like that will just come up and end up flatlining him inside a couple of rounds because he'll catch him when he's not ready. He's not right. He's past best, and I think now he's just getting to the point where he could go that other way and be a little bit slower. And I don't want to see that, man.
Yeah, look, he's nothing left to prove at all, Usyk. You know, he can retire tomorrow, but ultimately the paychecks are tempting.
I know, but you must get to a certain point where, I mean, what's he made? 150 million? At least 100. At least, man. He'll have got, 30 the night before? Maybe. At least. We're talking 20-30s for that.
Yeah.
I'd say he's made over 100 just for the Tyson Fury fights.
Well, there you go then. So money can't be a motivating factor, can it? You can only have a big house and as many cars as you want and as many holidays.
He's putting Ukraine on the map every time he fights, which is personal to him. That's probably more important for Usyk than money.
Right, but I just believe that
representing
he can't
his
scream
country
any louder than he has.
Yeah,
I'd love to see him walk away. I really would. For him more than us. We're selfish as fans. I'd love to see him go for another 10 stretch, but we're not going to get that. But I don't see anybody that on the landscape that I think, oh yeah, I want to see him fight him. I don't get that. I had that with Fury, had that with Joshua, didn't have that with Dubois first time round, and I ain't got it with second time round. There's nobody out there that I want to see him fight. I'll watch him fight him, but there's nobody other than Bakole that I think could give him a real test. But I think
he's not in position, is he really, Bakole? Yeah, he needs to win a few more.
It's 12 to 18 months away, and
yeah,
Usyk's not got that. He needs a big
Usyk
fight
will be
now.
Right off into the sunset.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Right, boys, I'm gonna leave it there for Usyk Fury 2. Then I'm gonna get us into this the award. Just a couple of bits of news to report on. Obviously, Catrol Barboza has been made for February the 15th at the Co-op, and I've just read as well that Teofimo Lopez and Subriel Matias are in deep negotiations for WBO 140. Mike Coppinger reported it. So it's legit. That's quite a fun fight.
Yeah,
Obviously, the same belt that they're fighting for the final eliminator for.
We know what will happen in a couple of weeks. Lopez or Lopez Senior will talk him out of the fight and say,
"What happened?"
Yeah.
What happened?
Coppinger reporting it's great. It means that someone's made an inquiry to top rank, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen because we know what's going to happen.
The worst thing to ever happen to Teofimo's boxing career is to let his dad get involved. His dad is an absolute dickhead. And he just gets involved too much, talks him out of fights. All right, you're his trainer, right? Shut up and just train then. He gets involved, and like Liam says, he'll probably talk him out of the fight, or he'll make him say something. He'll want to renegotiate. He'll want to be the ace, and it'll just, Matisse will go, do you know what? I'm out, mate. It's not worth it. Fun fight. Great fight to watch.
Really good fight, isn't it? Really good fight.
That we will ever actually see those two square off.
I'd love it if we did, but yeah, mate, it's just Lopez's track record speaks for himself at this point. It's more a surprise when he actually fights as opposed to when do you get what I mean? At this point, he says he's going to fight and then it never happens. It's more a surprise now. The next time he does fight,
himself, though, his mental health fluctuates. Very Ryan Garcia-esque.
Yeah, he
is. He's with Reynoso now, isn't he, as well? Canelo team.
Yeah, but his dad's still a part of it, so that's
he is.
Clean break.
Last forever. That won't last long. I'm telling you now. They'll kick him out because
that won't last the training camp.
Say something.
That won't last the training camp. That's my opinion.
It's all right. He's dipping in and dipping out, but when he's there full time and his dad's barking orders and doing this, and they'll clash. I think unless they say to his dad, "Look, he can be around, but we're training him," and his dad's not going to accept that, is he? His dad wants to be part of it.
Yeah, main character syndrome. Teofimo Lopez Senior. Right then,
sorry, I know we've moved on, but it was very refreshing to not listen or see John Fury this past weekend.
Yeah, it was actually
refreshing.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, I was thinking the same, mate. Yeah, it's made it. Yeah, shame it didn't make any difference to the overall outcome of the fight. Maybe some people were putting a lot on the fact John Fury was there first time rounds, but yeah, it was refreshing and it was nice to have a fight week that was focused on the fighters, not
drama free.
What's John Fury going to do today?
Drama free,
absolutely. So right, we've got 6 with us right now, guys. The format of this, I'm gonna name 10, 11 categories. I want input from everyone in the chat, please. The 3 of us are going to give our own input as to what we think as well, and then after a bit of debate, we are going to crown the award for who we think in a particular category. So. The first one we'll be starting with is Fighter of the Year for 2024. I think it's going to be quite an easy choice for this one, but there are a few notable mentions I want to mention. Artur Beterbiev beat Callum Smith and Dimitri Bivol, obviously undefeated and undisputed at 175 pounds. I think Daniel Dubois had a phenomenal year. He's beat Jarrell Miller, Filip Hrgovic, and Anthony Joshua, I think, in 2024, which is an insane. Oh, sorry, just Hrgovic and Joshua. Jarrell Miller was at the back end, wasn't it, of last year? But anyway, point still stands. But for me, how can you look back? How can you look past Alexander Usyk? You just can't look past Usyk. If Fury would have won on Saturday, obviously then you're looking at maybe Dubois or Beterbiev potentially. I don't know if there probably are others out there as well. But yeah, it has to be Alexander Usyk.
In a way.
Niue hasn't had.
I'm not saying that it's Usyk for me, but I'm saying there are other fighters like Inoue that could be, Bam is another one.
It's Usyk.
Bam's in the conversation. Yeah,
it's Usyk for me. The other 2 fighters I put down were Ban Rodriguez and Nick Ball. I put Nick Ball down as well. Those were
I didn't. I think he's
only. I think the draw against Vargas probably takes him out of it, but performance-wise, maybe look, he had a good year. Let's see what he does this year.
Yeah,
the Vargas draw was last year, wasn't it?
No, that was on the Joshua and Ngannou one, mate.
Jeez, that God,
He
he's
got
fought
that
how
in
many
February, then
times
came
this
back
year?
and fight
Nick Ball fought
Three.
three times this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
February, June, October.
God, that's some year Nick Ball's had. Yeah, he's definitely up there domestically, isn't he? For fighter of the year.
Yep.
Yeah. So unanimously for
Usyk.
What's Rambler said it? Liam Shaw Murphy's doppelganger on fire today.
Murphy, I've got to see what that is.
I love it. Usyk for Jam's boxing chat. Usyk is the only choice for me, right? Yeah. Arta Beterbiev, Alex has gone for. I don't hate it, but
skinnier version
I don't
of Sean
think.
Murphy.
I don't think
Skinnier
Dubois
version of
deserves
Sean
to be
Murphy.
in
Sorry.
fighter of the year. He's had one decent performance. I don't think that he's not in that conversation for me.
Beterbiev's not in.
Dubois.
Maybe fight of the year against Bivol, but not fighter of the year. No.
No.
No, I think Dubois in the chat with Hrgovic and Joshua. I think
Dubois in the chat, undoubtedly.
he's
Dubois in the chat, but yes, Usyk unanimously.
Not for me.
But yes, we'll go with Alexander Usyk then. That sounds pretty. Hawkins in agreement as well there. Mr. Randy said Ball's going to get beat next year. Put him in with someone. I think Nick Ball's going to get beat soon as well. I think he does show vulnerabilities, Ball, but he's so exciting to watch. Anyway,
I don't see that vulnerabilities where it's never been wobbled.
Ray Ford had a. I actually think I scored it a draw.
No, I didn't beat him. But
I thought Ford had good moments. I think he'll struggle against Espinoza at featherweight. Nick Ball definitely. But anyway, yeah, we'll see. Fight of the year next up then. Obviously,
be a Bivol for me.
Yeah, Beterbiev Bivol's up there. More of a purist fight, I would say. Usyk Fury 1 has to be up there. Wardley Clark has to be up there. Ortiz against Boachuk has to be up there.
Wardley Clark for fight of the year.
Fight 1. First fight.
Wardley Clark won.
For fight of the year.
Mate, it was a war.
I put it on there.
Yeah, but it looked like two fucking drunks outside.
Mate, it was
like
great
Chisora,
fight.
Dillian White.
It was a great fight, Wardley Clark won.
We're not skill in that fight. Yeah, never. Not even in my top 10.
Domestically, Lewis Crocker and Conor Walker was an absolute war.
Yeah. One fight you haven't mentioned, mate, I put on here, Tim Tszyu, Sebastian Fondora.
Yes, very good fight as well, definitely.
Yeah,
Hawkan, I think, obviously I mentioned it, that's right up there for me. Boachuk against Ortiz Jr. just sat on each other's chest for 12 rounds and went to war. It was tough to beat that. The moment of Usyk Fury 1 was like, it was great, but I think my fight of the year would be Boachuk and Ortiz Jr., same as Hawkan. It was just 12 rounds of madness, it was.
Beterbiev Bivol for me. More technical. I prefer technical fights to just wars.
I'm with Jay. Beterbiev Bivol's got my vote.
Beterbiev Bivol. Okay, then we'll go with Beterbiev Bivol then for fight of the year. Next one is round of the year this year. I don't know what you've got for this one, Liam.
Weird one.
Yeah, I've got a few wrote down here. The fifth in AJ Dubois was an absolute chaotic round. Usyk Fury 1, round number 9. McKenna and Laws, I can't remember what was the round they were both down in.
3.
Yeah,
one.
First. That was insane. Round 9 in Lewis Crocker and Conor Walker. That was absolutely insane. I think it was the 8th as well in Boachuk and Virgil Ortiz. There's been some unbelievable rounds this year. I don't know what you've got, Liam.
I've got 4 written down here. So 2 domestic. Round 1 of McKenna Laws, which is what we just said. They're both down. Round 10 of Henry Cooper, Echo Esserman, when Esserman was down on the scorecards and came back and started.
Oh man, yeah,
I've got that
great,
one. Yeah,
great.
And then two on the world stage. Round 9 from the first Fury Usyk fight, and then round 12 from Kolmatov and Ray Ford.
Kolmatov against Ford. I've got that in later. That was a great shout. Abdullah Mason, that round last month, that was absolutely insane. He was down twice and then dropped him back. Yeah, that was class. Definitely. Yeah. This is a hard one to pick. What have you got, Jay?
But mine are the same as Liam's, but my round of the year is Jaron Ennis and Avanesian. You're looking at me like I'm a dickhead, Liam, for
No,
suggesting
what rounds?
that.
I'm trying to work out what rounds, mate. I was like, what
The
round?
round that he stopped him in.
Round 6. Okay, yeah.
It's my favourite round.
Okay.
That was a very good performance. That was spiteful from Ennis that night, wasn't it? And the way he finished it off.
I just enjoy that round out of all the rounds I've watched this year. I don't know why, but that's my round of the year.
I think if I'm gonna go with Eckerman against Esserman against Cooper for mine. Just the way he was so down on the cards.
Second.
Yeah, it's even out on round 12, but I'll go with Esserman.
Yes,
I hope you're well, Pat. Yeah, look, let's go with that one because that was an absolutely insane fight. Esserman got dropped in the 9th badly. It was all over the place. And then Cooper came out for the 10th and Esserman absolutely flattened him, possibly needing to win by knockout to win the fight as well. So, yeah, big up Echo Esserman. That was a phenomenal performance. Next up, we've got...
upset, I think, is it?
Upset of the year. Now... We know who's going to win this, but there's a couple of notable mentions that I want to put in there. We'll leave the actual winner till the end. I think we'll be unanimous on that. Dubois over AJ was a sizable upset when it happened. Bakram Murtazaliev over Tim Zhu was a massive upset when that happened. Ironed him out in 2 or 3 rounds. I think it was 7 or 8 to 1 on that one, Murtazaliev. They're the 2 that I've got. Have you guys got any apart from the obvious one that we're going to
mine's not the same as yours, so we're not unanimous because I ain't picking what you're picking because I don't believe it had as bigger impact.
I've got 2 that you haven't mentioned. So Angela Leo against Luis Alberto Lopez. That's 11th round knockout.
That's on my KO of the year nominations.
Yeah, I put Mark Castro losing to Quintero on the Paro.
Yeah, you have that in Khalil Ko as well. If the Matchroom prospects have got beat, haven't they?
And then my other one is Kakachi and Cordina. That's what I've got as my other mention. Yeah. No one gave Kakachi a chance against Cordina. That for me is
a good shout.
I just had 2: Kakachi, Cordina, and Dubois. And AJ is my upset the year. Because
I didn't bar AJ on my list, but Kakachi Cordina steals it for me.
Yeah, Kakachi Cordina's on there, definitely. But Bruno Soares beating Munguia is the biggest upset in boxing this year.
I don't think it's a bigger shock as Dubois beating Joshua.
I've tried not to have winners in more than one category, so that's come somewhere else for me.
Yeah,
I do agree.
It's the moment is different in the Joshua Dubois one, definitely the scale of the fight, but Soares is sort of a 20-25 to 1 underdog against Munguia. It's definitely the biggest shock of the year. It's Dubois beating AJ was an upset on a bigger scale, but Soares winning that one has to be upset of the year, definitely. So what are we going with, that or Kakachi?
I say Kakachi. What do you say, Joe?
Neither, but yeah, Kakachi.
Dubois or AJ definitely on the optics is probably the biggest in terms of world level this year. It's probably the one that goes around the world the most, doesn't it? It resonated the most.
As Sam says, shock factor, you've got the Munguia loss. Yeah, definitely. But it didn't have any implications other than it was a shock, 25 to 1 on.
Which is why we got a different category for that, mate. That's why
Yeah, world champion, losing his belt and stuff. It was that for me. But yeah, I think, the Munguia one is obviously a bigger one on paper, but 25 to 1 outsider.
Yeah, Hawkan has gone with Munguia. I think we're going to go with Kakachi then for that one. Trainer of the year, then, notable mentions for Don Charles for the work that he's done with Daniel Dubois, most definitely. The Moore and Travis gym is absolutely thriving at the moment. Jack Cattrall's wrote the Josh Taylor wrong, hasn't he? They've got many fighters coming through. Pat Brown's just turned over, and Simon and Dave Allen. Everything they've done this year, Jamie and Nigel Travis has been absolutely fantastic. Robert Garcia would get my vote for what obviously Bam Rodriguez, Virgil Ortiz Jr., he's got a hell of a stable going over there.
He's had 77 fights this year and lost 7.
Yeah, he's had a serious year. And many people wrote him off. DJ Pat's gone with
there, no?
What's that?
No, Joe Gallagher in there. He wins it every year, doesn't he?
Big up Wayne Herman, team.
In his own head, mate. He's won it 12 years in a row.
He is a former Ring Magazine Trainer of the Year, to be fair. Joe Gallagher. It's
don't we know it?
It's etched in history.
Don't we know it?
But yeah, we'll go with
Garcia.
We'll go with Robert Garcia for that. Yeah, I think that's
You're in agreement, so let's go with it.
A very fair award for himself on that one. So next up, we've got Promoter of the Year. DJ Pat's in agreement with that one. I'm referring to this as, like everyone was saying, watch out for Anton Cordina's business. Yeah, he was. Yeah, Cordina looked past Kakachi that night for sure. Promoter of the Year, look, it's not even close, is it, for this one?
Uncle.
In my opinion. I think Frank is blind, according to Alexander Usyk. But yeah, the year Frank Warren's had, and him being the promoter on the name of Riyadh season, I guess, the cards that they're putting on. His domestic shows have won him this award for me, though. His domestic shows versus boxers and matchrooms have been
consistent. We've had decent show after decent show. Even his low-level shows, should I say, the smaller shows, have still been really good. Every Queensbury show that we've seen this year has had decent fights on it.
B- at worst, if you're going to give it a rank.
And some of the matchroom and boxer shows domestically have been absolute twonk. And I think Frank Warren is head and shoulders above the other two major British promoters for me. And certainly on a world stage, Frank has really re-announced himself. So for me, it's a no-brainer.
To play devil's advocate, and because they go above Queensbury on the Riyadh season shows in terms of who their titles being, I've actually put Spencer Brown and Gold Star down because they are making. Yes, it's Queensbury that is in association.
Yeah, they're making some of the individual fights.
Key promoters. So I've actually gone Spencer Brown as my promoter of the year because he's actually brokering the deals for all these Saudi shows we've seen. But I will go with Frank Warren. But I did give honourable mention to Spencer because without him, he's brokering all the deals between promoters.
But he brokers the deals as a manager, doesn't he? He's not actually a promoter. I know Gold Star are on the.
It's his company, isn't it? How does it work? Because Gold Star Promotions is him, isn't it?
It is, but I don't think he's a promoter. I don't know if he's got a promoter's license. I might be wrong.
They don't do like official shows as such. I don't think Gold Star, but they are
fighters to shows, don't they? But I get what you mean. He's put some of the biggest fights of the year on.
Yeah, he's definitely up there, isn't he? Who can forget the 5 versus 5 as well? He schooled Eddie in the 5v5 in June, 5-0 or 10-0, whatever way you want to call it. Queensbury for DJ Pat as well. Yeah, I think we'll
go Frank. But I had to mention that because obviously Gold Star will take the headline listing for Riyadh season. Yeah,
we'll give it to Uncle Frank. Oscar hasn't had his worst year of all time. He had Garcia Haney. That was a massive show. He's had a good few with Ortiz, but there's nowhere near the level of what Frank's been doing this year. No way. Right then, next up is what is the card of the year? So what's been top to toe the best card of 2024 in your boys' opinion?
5v5.
5v5.
Imagine if Beterbiev and Bivol was on.
Exactly.
On the 5 versus 5.
Even Bivol getting his first stoppage in about 80 years made, added to the card, didn't it? It was just great to talk. Okay, we were getting the main event at 10 to 2 in the morning in the UK if we want to be really hypercritical, but third quality top to bottom, nothing comes close.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that as well. It was a card that delivered as well. The 5 versus 5. There's been some great cards, but some of them haven't delivered actually on the night. The next year is probably going to be a wrap after February the 22nd, if we're being completely honest. That card is insane. Although I'm hearing the 5 versus 5 rumored planned one for May or whenever it is going to be insane as well. So we'll keep an eye on that one. But yeah, definitely for me as well. That I think Fury Usyk 1 was a good card as well that delivered. But 5 versus 5 headlined by Zhang and Wilder was some night of boxing. So we'll give that to 5v5. Next is what was the best event of the year? So I guess that kind of promotion, what was the biggest feel of anything? AJ Dubois for sure has to be up there. I really I really got into Garcia Haney as well when that was happening. That kind of felt big. But are there any other ones that you can think of off the top of your head?
Garcia Haney was up there for me, but it's tainted by Ryan failing the drugs test after, so you can't really put that on there for me because of that. I have gone Riyadh season Wembley, especially being there as well. I've done a fair few shows this year. I mean, it just about beats Charlie Edwards at York Hall. That was a cracking event.
Yes, close run.
Riyadh season Wembley, far and away, just the event feel the whole way through the week and what it brought to London for the week was fantastic. So.
Better be a Bivol for me. That's the event I enjoyed the most. The build up, the fights in the lead up to the main event.
That's probably the Riyadh season card that's the most behind the 5v5, isn't it, in terms of what we got on a night as well.
Yeah, definitely. Usyk Fury 2 for Jams. That was a good card, actually, Pat. Yeah, the two kings in Philly. The main event didn't quite get going, did it?
Usyk Fury 2, I was disappointed because obviously some of the fights dropped off. It was still a decent card, but not. It was nowhere near as good as what it was supposed to be.
Yeah, the first card was better than the second one after what dropped off the rematch card.
I've actually got it down. Event Fury Usyk 1.
Yeah, definitely. Fury Usyk 1 was insane. Yeah, next one then is Young Fighter of the Year. We've categorized this as 25 or less for the age. Obviously, Moses is recency bias would be on your mind there with what he did at the weekend. Obviously, Mithrandi mentioned Abdullah Mason earlier, but for me, it's Jesse Bam Rodriguez, 24 years old. This guy is just, he's going to the top, isn't he? Already at 24, you look at the names on his record. He's doing it at a level above the rest of them right now. But if you're talking like outright prospect of the year, Moses probably got to be up there, hasn't he? There's a difference between young fighter of the year and prospect of the year.
I had him on Moses, and then I took him off because he hadn't fought anyone. I know everyone's bigging up Dempsey.
I fought Wack and McKean, so yeah, it's different.
Do you know what I mean? If he'd have fought a couple more, but domestic young fighter of the year, hands down from these shores, but he's not. It's not comparable with Bam. He's 24. He's multiple world champion. He's battering everyone you put in front of him. I'd love to see him in a couple of massive fights in 2025 and, break over to the mainstream, because as much as Eddie tries to convince you he's not a crossover star yet.
No.
He's not. People out, casuals don't know who he is. And I'd love to see him on one of these massive cards, maybe in a big fight. But yeah, he wins it for me, hands down. He's head and shoulders above everybody else.
Yeah, Bam, head and shoulders, no close competition. Simple as that.
Yeah, no, we haven't gone with prospect of the year. It's young fighter of the year. So there's a difference for me in terms of Abdullah Mason is up there for prospect of the year. Him and Moses Atama would probably be the two that I would go off the top of my head. But for a young fighter of the year that's 25 or below, then Bam Rodriguez is the winner of the award. It's not really up for debate, in my opinion. Nope. Yes, Jams said it's definitely Yeah, look, prospect of the year is different thing. We decided to go with young fighter of the year though, rather than prospect. Next up is shock moment of the year. Which moment happened this year that made you think, what the hell has just happened? I've mentioned Lewis Neary dropping a new 8 in round number 1 when they fought. Couldn't believe that when it happened. Of course, what happened in round 9 with Fury Usyk, that's the one that everyone remembers. When Estrada dropped Bam Rodriguez when they fought, that was absolutely... Miss Randy, my friend, I love you and respect you. I'm not calling
him a prospect.
Not calling Bam a prospect. It's young fighter of the year, and we've categorized it as 25 or below. Bam is not a prospect. He's
if you were listening, you would have known.
Young fighter of the year, my friend. Anyway, that's the last on that award. Estrada dropping Bam when Bam was all over him and on top. I couldn't believe it when I was watching that. Obviously, Dubois and AJJ's Fight Talk losing his mind on the live watch. No, it's all good, my friend. Don't worry. Like, I understand it's probably my wording of the award, but Yeah, all good, my friend. Dubois and AJ, obviously, Jay losing his mind on that. I actually remember at the time watching Joyce and Chisora when that happened, when Chisora dropped Joe Joyce, and I was like, what the hell has just happened? Like, that was a madness thing as well. Have you boys got any more crazy moments that you can think of?
Munguia.
I have them the other way around, so Munguia would have got that for me. This one.
Yeah, Munguia gets that for me. Yeah, that's mine's shock of the year.
Yeah, okay. Well, we didn't give Serace the other award, so we can give Bruno Serace shock moment of the year, definitely.
Honourable mention to the ring announcer. I'm saying Nina Hughes had held on to a world title out in Australia when she'd lost it. That was that moment.
What about Mike Tyson getting his arse out on the Netflix?
Mate, I still see that when I go to sleep. So thanks for bringing that back up. It's me screwed for another week.
Oh dear, that was a good one. Yeah, obviously, we're going to go with Munguia. And, that's another good one as well. Wayne, to be fair, that didn't even cross my mind. Yeah, Ben Whittaker did.
WWE moment over the top.
Get found out. And there's another one, Jamji. I didn't expect Taylor to get the nod on the away promotion that night either. So, yes, that's a good one. But, yeah, we'll go with Bruno Serace, considering we didn't give him the award earlier. Fair play to him. Knockout of the year next up. This should be a good one. I've got Lucas Bardi over H2O Silv, if any of you remember that one. That was an absolutely insane knockout. Obviously, Serace Munguia, Angelo Leo over Luis Alberto Lopez, AJ over Ngannou, Dubois over AJ, Tank over Frank Martin was a belter. Any others I've missed there that you boys can think of?
Bentley against the Sazi, the way he just put straps in his face, that one left.
Yeah.
It was, for me, it's between that or Tank against Frank Martin. They're my top two.
Dubois knocking out AJ, just the way he flatlines him face first.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
The way he gets wobbled, goes back, jab, overhand right. Just it had everything, didn't it? That fight? The knockout itself.
Yeah, good shout, Wayne. Forgot about that. It was mental knockout, Zhang over Wilder. Yeah, I think for the moment, Dubois AJ's probably
for the moment,
bigger moment.
Probably I know knockout of the year, because like Jam said, that Bardi over Silva was absolutely insane. Like, that was probably like the flushest knockout of the year. But I mean, I guess if you're going to factor in the stage and the moment and what happened, I think Dubois is kind of a good winner for that one as well. Yeah, Bam over Estrada is a good shout as well, actually, Pat. The body shot, absolutely insane. But yeah, I think we'll go big up, Anna. Thanks for tuning in, my friend. AJ's bubble has been burst. Yeah, it definitely well and truly has. But happy to give Daniel Dubois knockout of the year then this year. Cool. Performance of the year. Now, obviously different to a few of the other awards that we've had, but I've just thought of a couple on that. I actually had Kakachi and Cordina down on there. I've got Martin Bakoli over Jared Anderson. Many forget that although most of us picked him in the know, he went into that fight as an underdog and he completely flattened America's next heavyweight prospect. I've got Bakram Murtazaliev over Tim Tszyu. That was just a complete destruction. I know Sonny wasn't on it that night, but Galal against Sonny the other week was very, very impressive as well. Galal was money that night. Have you boys got any others?
I've got Hamza Shiraz.
I've got Terry Harper in mind.
I've got Hamza Shiraz
against Eddie.
No, against Ammo.
Against Ammo.
On the 5v5, just the way he probably lost the first couple of rounds, came back into that fight, broke him down. And I've also put Lomachenko's performance against Kambosos Jr., what he done out in Australia that night when everyone was saying that was
a good performance.
His chance to get back in, that was impressive. Stopped him as well. Loma gets many stoppages.
Was Garcia Haney last year? This year?
No, it was this year, yeah.
So I've got that one and Terry Harper.
Harper against Rhiannon was a good performance. Yeah. And Taylor over Serrano as well. You could put up there for her to do that again.
Yeah.
There's quite a few, actually. There's another one that I had Ray Ford against Kolmatov when he stopped him right at the right at the end as well. So Jam's gone with Murtazaliev against Zhu. Definitely. Pat's gone with Katie Taylor-Serrano too. He's also mentioned Terry Harper. I think this is a tough one to decide, boys. I think there's a case for a lot of the ones on here. Horkan's in agreement with Jay's Fight Talk. We've had a couple of mentions in the chat of Terry Harper. I think there's a good case for that because she was wrote off, wasn't she, against Rhiannon Dixon?
Yeah, because she'd been stopped against Sandy Ryan up at weight at the start of the year. No one gave her a chance coming back down, really, did they?
I think I put 10 years on her age. I thought she was in like a mid-30s and didn't realise she's like mid-20s. Is she 27 something like that? I thought she was like 43 or some shit like that.
Yeah, no, she's literally only, she's like late 20s and she's absolutely insane.
So good on her, man. For me, it would be Terry Harper, but I know there are bigger fights out there, so I don't know.
We've had mention for it in the chat. There's people in the chat agreeing. Let's go with that.
Should we go with that, Sam?
Yeah, look, I think so, yeah. That was a great performance, especially as she'd been wrote off so much in that Rhiannon Dixon fight. Loma's not officially retired yet, I don't think, but although it feels like it's gonna come.
Feels like
it's inevitable, I think.
Yes, we'll see how Ford does at 130. Nick Ball's had some really good ones actually, Wayne, against Ray Ford and against what was the other one he done? Oh no, that was the back end of last year, wasn't it? Sorry,
no, it was Ramos. What's it? Rios.
Yeah, Rios. That was a good fight, but
to be fair though, I never thought he was going to lose that fight.
Yeah, no.
Do you know what I'm saying? For the ones that I've chosen were ones that had a little bit of, maybe the underdog as such.
Yeah.
Whereas Nick Ball went into that fight as the favourite, or at least very even. It was a 50-50 fight. I never thought he was going to lose that fight, to be honest.
Yeah.
Whereas the ones that I've picked, there was more of a, not a shock, but Terry Harper was definitely the underdog, and she made it look fairly easy in spits and spurts to that fight. So for me, that would be more in line with sort of performance of the year.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we'll give it to Belter and Terry Harper. That's a really good shout. Navarrete over Valdez in the rematch as well. Mathrandir, definitely. No, it's just rumours about Loma's retirement. I don't think it's anything's concrete just as of yet. Lastly, if there's any other awards that you'd like us to discuss in the chat, feel free to fire some in. What's your prediction? Mr. Randy put a good one in earlier. What's your prediction of? Okay, what's your shot prediction for 2025? Name something that's gonna happen that many people don't think is gonna happen for 2025.
Bivol will nail Beterbiev to the fucking canvas. How do you like that one?
Bivol stops Beterbiev in the rematch.
Nails him to the canvas, makes it look easy, and stops him.
Okay, that's a good one.
Ooh.
What do you reckon, Liam? What you saying? What you saying for shock of 2025?
I mean, I like what you've just said. I'd love Bivol to nail, but I love Bivol. Shock of 2025.
What about Dubois gets the fucking Usyk fight and knocks him out inside 3 rounds?
No, here we go on that. Joseph Parker to beat Dubois and then to beat Usyk.
Ooh, I mean, yeah, I'm halfway with you on that one. I'll take the first one, but I mean, he could, like I said, if he catches Usyk. Remember, Usyk's going to turn up one night. He's going to have a fantastic training camp, and then it's just not there.
Yeah.
The first bell goes. Joseph Parker's on the up, so it could. Joseph
Parker to be a unified champion by the end of 2025. A unified champion.
Woo!
Oh, I love it. Jam agrees with Jay's prediction. Bivol deserves it. Also, AJ fights the winner of Kabiel and Zhang and loses again. Jam says.
That'd be a shock for me. I don't know if that'd be a shock.
Bivol will be champion. Sandy Ryan.
2025.
Too far-fetched, Wayne Herman says. Parker to beat Dubois, Anders says. In a way to move up and conquer featherweight, Randir says.
Dubois to learn his alphabet, or is that too far?
The second Dubois rudely interrupted that Usyk post-fight interview in his badly fitting suit, he'd put the nail in his own coffin. Joseph Parker will beat the brakes off.
Yeah. It's not a good look at all, is it?
No.
Shakur beats Tank. Mithrandir says Usyk retires the GOAT. Wayne Herman says, come on, Beterbiev Ender. Jile Zhang to become world champion. Wayne Herman says, I'm going to say something that's going to get me
Not
laughed
unless he
out.
fights Pulev.
Yeah, I'm going to say something that gets me laughed out the chat. Kid Austin, Floyd Schofield beat Shakur Stevenson on February the 22nd.
That's not a shock for me, mate. You're not
Print
getting
it.
laughed at for me.
Print it.
I could
He's
see
good.
that
could
happen.
happen.
Good Kid Austin is. I'm telling you.
He is, and Shakur's coming off bad injuries and inactivity, and it's all stacked in Austin's favour, mate. You're not getting laughed at by me for suggesting
Hey, I can see that happening. I can see that happening. That's not an outrageous one.
It will Tank retire after the...
Possibly. He's bored. He seems bored to me. Seems bored. And he's got loads
will he
of
retire
money
after Lamont Roach?
If he can't get the big fights, I mean, maybe. He's got a load of money, hasn't he? He's milked the PBC card for all it's worth. He's got loads of money and he can't get the big fights. He ain't just going to fight for the sake of it. He'll just, possibly.
Tank to fight in March and be locked up by November.
Tama to beat Mike Tyson's record.
Does a regular belt count? I know we said technically it does, but I wouldn't say he'd beat Tyson. Tyson won the WBC, did he not beat him, Burbeck?
Mate, don't let that stand in the way of a load of T-shirts and flags and posters being printed. Come on,
mate, he'll be on a red bus.
Oh yeah. It'll be
London, watered by Uncle Frank. Technically, he will have
Frank Bruno on a bus.
Realistically,
it's not. No, realistically, no, not for me. No.
Nah.
He's off,
especially when it's against someone like Pulev as well.
I didn't hear that, Jam. No, I didn't hear that the fight with Roach is off with Tank.
I
thought Donald exactly what. I don't know. Jam's just said it there. PBC will join the zone.
That's not a shock. We were on about that 2 pods ago, weren't we?
Regular is it is, and I agree with that. Look, Miss Randy, maybe not. Shakur's that good, I agree, but look, it's just an opinion, my friend. It's just an opinion. Shakur, unfortunately, he's a great boxer. He's not blessed with a great deal of power. So, if he fights Tank, it is possible that Tank knocks him out. It's a definite possibility. I would probably favour Shakur, to be fair, in the fight, but again, we need to see it, don't we? We're probably not going to see it because it's boxing. It's US boxing, so we're probably not going to see it. No. Let's be fair, we wouldn't have seen Fury and Usyk unless Riyadh season were involved, would we? So
no.
Look,
you could probably make a case for 40% of the fights on Riyadh season this year we wouldn't have seen without.
You're being very.
I'm being
very
generous.
There, I think. We're up at 80%. Possibly, brother.
Because
they don't have to negotiate. They just say, "Listen, we're going to pay you this much. Do you accept it? No. What about this much? Yeah."
Yeah.
Whereas normally it's back forth.
Yeah, there's a lot of receipts out on Tyson Fury this week telling him that Usyk's not big enough. He doesn't speak English and this, that, and the other. And then obviously Riyadh season got the money.
My favourite is Tyson's monologue before he took on Klitschko, where he basically says everyone Klitschko's fought was too small, should be a cruiserweight. No one that size is ever going to be a big heavyweight like me. And then Usyk's come in and forced him down and done him off.
So apparently, a good big un does not beat a good,
Do you know the one that makes me laugh about the Usyk and Fury thing? It's like, imagine if Usyk was Fury size. Imagine what would happen then. It's like, no, Usyk's so good because of his size and because of how he uses it. Usyk wouldn't be Usyk if he was 6'9" and 280 pounds.
No, the fact that he's smaller, faster, lighter.
Usyk's able to be Usyk because he's 6'3", 220 or whatever it is that allows him to be so great.
Yeah.
But no, my friend, don't be silly. We definitely no personal things here. You're great as well. We appreciate you. We appreciate you tuning in and dividing opinion is definitely why we do the show. So big up yourself, my friend. Shakur ain't box office. Ender says that's why fights ain't.
You know what? Can I just ask a question about Shakur Stevenson?
Go on.
Are we all forgetting the fact that he flatlined some member of the public in a car park about 2 years ago? Nearly killed him and it just got forgotten about.
Just got hushed up. It just moved to the side, yeah.
Do you remember that? He fucking sidewinded some I think it was a woman. I'm pretty sure it was a woman. Anyway.
I remember him doing that. I'm not sure if it was a woman, but yeah, I remember him doing it.
He's not in jail and I don't know why. It just got forgotten about. But anyway.
Jams, this does show how bollocks the bridgerweight division is when Usyk comes in below that weight, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is actually.
I think that's why the other organisations haven't even entertained it, have they? WBC, and that's it. Nobody else was bothered with it, have they?
WBA have discussed it, but that's all they've done.
Yeah,
I think they've realised. Yeah,
there's no belt there yet, is there?
They've realised they've got enough belts with regular champions and global champions and FanDuel with the Cornflakes Box champions without.
Has Coley vacated that then, or is he still
No.
technically that champion?
Still technically. No, Kevin Lorena's the Bridgerweight champion. Kevin Lorena, he dropped Daniel Dubois twice in the first round.
So he's vacated the belt?
Yeah. Vacated it because he's in the WBC heavyweight rankings and Kevin Lorena just got moved up.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Great. Awesome.
So,
yeah, I think boys, that'll do
female fight. We did have a category for female fight, didn't we? And I said we'd get in trouble for
Katie Taylor would win female fighter of the year all day.
Clarissa Shields possibly for me for what she's done in terms of multiple belts, but yeah, we stuck to just a fighter of the year, didn't we?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think I'll do it. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us three tonight. With Randy, Jams, Ender, DJ Pat, Hawkan, Wayne Herman. Who else stopped by? We had our friend from Florida who was in with us earlier. It was a long time ago and a lot of comments. Alex, it was. So thanks for tuning in.
Joining us, man.
That is the last No Punches Pulled of 2024. Not the last show, though. We will be back for Puma Martinez versus Ioka on New Year's Eve around about 11 a.m. UK time on DAZN worldwide. It's going to be broadcast. So we'll Terry Harper's actually in the chat as well. Jam's just looking at your comment. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Sweet Caroline.
Yeah, but we're not allowed to separate and gender assign, so we had to just do a fighter of the year. But yes, we didn't want to get cancelled.
Big up to Serrano, Amanda Serrano. Yeah, look, Amanda Serrano's so good. Big up Wayne Herman. Have a great Christmas, everybody. Happy Christmas as well. And
Merry Christmas,
everybody who's tuned in. Yeah, we're gonna have a nice week off now. No boxing, apart from Boxing Day, I guess, but. No mention of the word boxing until New Year's Eve. Martinez Ioka, latest Mark Selby and Sean Murphy. Rambler says, "Oh, Rambler, love it." Nobody is cancelling anyone. And it says, "Merry Christmas, big up, and stay blessed." Yeah, thank you very much, guys. We'll see you in just over a week's time. Hope everybody has a great holidays.
Stay tuned in the new year for Jam and Jay's football talk.
Yeah, yeah. Is that coming from 2025? Is it Jam and Jay's football talk? I'll be a subscriber. Absolutely. Yes, thanks everybody. Have a great Christmas, Liam and Jay. Thanks for all your time and effort this year. Much appreciated. And we will see everybody on the 31st for the last watch along of the year.